Welcome everyone to the Phoenix Police Department's 2022 Annual Award Ceremony, brought to you by the Phoenix Police Foundation. Please stand for the posting of the colors by the Phoenix Police Honor Guard. Please remain standing for our national anthem, performed by Officer Mary Kokali.
Time, march. DJ. Halt. Ready? Right. Advance the colors. Post the colors. Present, home.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, home. Height Major, by your command, sir. Forward, halt.
Please be seated. And now, welcome to the stage your MCs for tonight's ceremony, Assistant Chief Steve Martos and special guest MC, Arizona's family anchor, Nicole Kreitz.
Hello, hello. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm so happy to be here. Very honored to be here, of course, sharing the stage, presenting tonight with a dear friend who I admire so much over the years.
Well, thank you, Nicole. Thanks for being here. How many times has this been?
This is my second time. It's been
second time.
some years,
Yeah.
but it's so great to finally be able, they let me off the news. Didn't give me a teleprompter for this. Are you going to be okay with that?
We'll figure this out.
We're going to get through this. We'll
We'll
get through this together. But, you know, made sure to wear my blue tonight, but truly my gratitude goes far deeper than that. My husband is a Tempe police sergeant. He's narcotics and SWAT. And, you know, when we moved to the Valley to start a family back in 2004, he's been on ever since, and even before that. We were high school sweethearts back in the day, and it must have been more than 20 years ago he first told me, I think I want to be a police officer. And I just remember trying my darndest to talk him out of it. I really did, because I said, you know, I got him some ride-alongs with the fire department. I'm like, everybody loves a firefighter. Are you sure you don't want to do that? And he did some. He did some ride-alongs just, you know, to kind of humor me. But then I did a Citizens Academy, and I got to see just a glimpse. I'm not going to say I got it all, but I did the FATS training, the firearm simulators, and I got to see behind the scenes a little bit more of the tools and the training that goes into this job. And I thought, if I get to do the job I love, certainly I can support him doing the job he loves. But I know that this isn't a job. This is a calling. It truly is, because people who would run towards danger to protect a stranger, I mean, who does that? Not me, not most of us. And I remember at his graduation, his first graduation so many years ago, them thanking all the family members and saying thank you for your sacrifice. And that's when it really like sunk in and hit me truly as a wife to say, like, recognizing it's not just the officer who puts on the badge and the vest, it's the family waiting home all the time to make sure that they come home safe. So I do not take your service or sacrifice lightly. And tonight I want to thank, of course, all of you fine men and women who are serving, but also the wives, the husbands, the kids who are here, the moms and dads, all the proud family members. I thank you so much for supporting not just the city of Phoenix, but our greater community. I really, really thank you from the bottom of my heart. So congratulations to all the families who are here tonight. This is your night. So give yourselves a round of applause.
So we have some hiring bonuses if he wants to leave Tempe. I'm not sure why he tried
I see your
but,
scheming. I see your scheming ways.
So I want to thank Nicole for joining us. This is, as she mentioned, her second time. Thank you. You've been so gracious. I'm not sure if this is because you're just a sweet person and like to give, or it's the speeding ticket that we took care of a year or so ago. Mrs. I Can't Drive 55.
You're the worst.
Before we get started, I wanted to recognize a few honored guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we are pleased tonight to be joined by the Honorable Mayor Kate Gallego. She is currently backstage. She will come forward in a few minutes and speak to you all. In addition, we have our own City Manager Jeff Barton. With him is Assistant City Manager Lori Bays. So we want to welcome them. They can hear you from backstage. We'd also like to recognize the Phoenix Police Foundation and their sponsors who have given so generously for this evening. We also want to thank Queen Creek Police Chief Randy Bryce. Are you in here, sir? Okay, so I really don't want to thank you. You stole one of our top cops, so if somebody can escort him out, we'll be better off for it. And don't try stealing any of the other top cops here. In addition, we have our partners with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives join us tonight as we recognize some of their members as well. To those members of the community in attendance, and to you, our family and friends, who support us night after night as we work to ensure that our officers arrive home safely after every shift, I want to tell you from the bottom of our heart, thank you. We love you, and we appreciate the support that you give our officers. There is so much to celebrate tonight, but what I'd like to do for just one moment is, would you all please stand for a moment? I promise I won't make you keep doing that, but I want to recognize those that we've lost in 2021. We have lost some sworn officers, professional staff, and volunteers in 2021. And I just want to take a moment of silence. And I would be remiss also in not taking this moment of silence for the many souls lost in a school shooting yesterday in Texas, many of whom were children. So would you please join me in a moment of silence? Thank you so much. You may be seated. And for just a few housekeeping notes, Nicole?
Yeah, so award recipients, our ushers, of course, will assist you when it's your turn to move backstage. So move quickly, move quietly so we can get through the program.
Photo ops. We have an opportunity. We have a photo backdrop that's available in the lobby after the award ceremony is over. For the recipients, for your families, you can use filters or no filters. I prefer filters. I hear they're good. Not that I use them. There will also be police cadets also standing by to assist you with your phone or your device or cameras to assist you in taking those photos.
Yeah, and of course we are excited to see all the kids here in attendance. But if you feel that a break is necessary, just please return to the lobby momentarily and join us when you're ready to do so.
And of course, let's not forget, if you can turn your phones to silent or off or vibrate or dim your devices, that would help us immensely. So just for your information, tonight's ceremony will be posted on the department's YouTube channel. So if you're concerned about trying to get the right shot, the right video, whatever it is, please, you can also go to the police YouTube channel. Also, lastly, while you're moving around about the theater, watch out for any video equipment, personnel, or cables.
Okay, it looks like we're ready and set to go. Are you guys excited? We are pleased so much to welcome our first guest speaker for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Phoenix Mayor Kate Gallego.
Congratulations to the heroes we will honor tonight. You have made our city safer, you have innovated, and we owe you our thanks. We want to recognize those who have done so much for our city, and on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council, say thank you. Tonight, we will recognize 236 sworn civilian and volunteers who have made our city stronger. There are amazing success stories, and I hope tonight is a special moment for your family where you get to see that you're being honored by your city for such incredible work. I've had the chance to speak with officers who are retiring, who remember their chance at an event like tonight, and I hope it will be special to you as well. When I talk to officers upon retirement, some of these moments are the ones they look back on, and had a chance to meet with an officer this week who was honored at a previous ceremony with the Life-Saving Award, doing CPR on a baby. That baby's family then asked him to be a godparent, and now that young person has graduated and moved on to a very successful career. So it shows the work you do that we honor you for today continues for generations and makes our city proud. I want to thank Tim Thomas and the Police Foundation Board for their partnership in making tonight possible. I also want to particularly congratulate our top cops, Officers Alex Cowan, Logan Ignore, Cameron Pryor, Dispatcher Rachel Hayden, as well for amazing work, and former Officer Antonio Rodriguez Jr. Thanks to you, a child is safe, and incredible work to make that possible. It's particularly poignant this week. Like Chief Martos, my thoughts are very much in Texas. And I think for any parent at a school, we are also thankful to those of you who rush towards schools in times of great need. Today's a big day in my personal household. My kid graduated from preschool. But as I was dropping him off this morning for that last day of preschool, I really, my mind was on tonight and saying thank you for all of those of you who do such important life-saving work. It is tough to think that schools are not one of the safest places in our community, but with the work we do, may we make them ever safer. Today is a very important ceremony. We're so glad to be back in person. We also have a record number of life-saving awards that we are awarding today, and that feels really, really good. Lots of good news to celebrate. The council recently passed a budget. Our largest new increase was for the police department, and yes. And given all the things in the media, probably worth saying, that is very important to us, and that I pledge to you, I will never defund the police department, and we will continue to invest. So thank you for the work you do. We are so excited to support, to honor, and celebrate. A huge congratulations from the city of Phoenix. Thank you for making us the best city in the United States.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. We truly appreciate your support of our department and, quite frankly, of our profession. Next, I'm going to ask up someone to come up who I have to kiss up on a daily basis. And so I think I told him earlier, I'm not sure, that I think he's been working out, maybe lost a little bit of weight, looks a little bit younger. Please help me welcome our city manager, Jeff Barton.
We all know Steve loves attention, so emceeing is just perfect for him. So first and foremost, I want to thank the mayor. We do appreciate you. We appreciate the other council members for your support tonight as we honor and celebrate the members of the Phoenix Police Department. I also want to thank the Phoenix Police Foundation, as many of those before me have done, for bringing us together tonight. You know, after 2 years of spending the last 2 years hunkered down behind a mask, behind shields, and locked in our bedrooms and our homes, I'm pleased to be joining you in person to recognize the great contributions of our police officers, our dispatchers, our crime lab employees, and other personnel and volunteers for the Phoenix Police Department. I want to personally express my gratitude to your families as well for the sacrifices that they make on a daily basis if you go to work every single day. I'm also keenly aware of the depth of the sacrifice for the family of Officer Gennaro New. As we near the first anniversary of his passing, we share our greatest appreciation and deepest sympathy for his sacrifice. Officer New gave his life in service for our community, and for that, we will be eternally grateful. Now, the past 2 years have been a challenging time for our city and for the Phoenix Police Department in particular. However, even in the face of a pandemic and daily dangerous situations, members of the Phoenix Police Department continue to carry out their mission to serve and protect. And thank you for showing dignity and respect as you answer that call. You respond with bravery, and you assist our community during what is often described as their darkest hour. Already this year, the Phoenix Police Department has responded to over 250,000 calls for service. Just last week, I visited the Communications Bureau to sit down with the employees and the dispatchers and share our appreciation for their critical work in keeping our community safe. And over the next few months, Assistant City Manager Lori Bays and myself will be traveling across the city to meet with other members of the department at all precincts. We look forward to discussing how we can work together to continue delivering the exceptional service and fostering the highest level of community trust, and to provide you with all of the tools that you need to be safe. I look forward to working with each and every one of you as we continue in our common goal to make Phoenix stronger and a safer city for everyone. In this effort, we will take the inspiration from those tonight that win the awards and will be recognized for their awards for their service. So on behalf of all City of Phoenix employees, I want to congratulate you and thank you for your contributions to our city. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Mr. Barton. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker is a very familiar one. Please give a very warm welcome to Executive Assistant Chief Michael Kurtenbach.
Thank you, Nicole, and thank you for your unwavering support of law enforcement. As you heard, it's very personal to her. Let me start by saying that Chief Williams wishes that she could be here this evening. She was called away at the last minute to represent us at the White House, and she's in D.C. at this very moment. But know that she sends her heartfelt appreciation for all of our awardees, and she's so grateful for the sacrifice that you make every day. And a special thank you from me, the chief, and our entire executive staff to the families, because without you, our officers couldn't do what they do. So I would like to welcome you to this year's Pride in Our Heroes Award ceremony. It warms my heart, as you heard from the mayor, to be able to be back in person. The reality is, as we honor our heroes tonight, that every member of our department, sworn or civilian, is a hero. I marvel every day at the amazing work that our sworn and professional staff do, and I am so grateful for the community members who support that work each and every day. Tonight, you will hear incredible stories of bravery and selflessness, of courage and of valor. You will hear about the commitment, dedication, and the exceptional work of the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department. But most of all, you will hear about their unwavering service to our community. I've been so proud to wear this uniform, I don't know how it's possible, for over 32 years. And that pride from the first day I put the uniform on continues to this day. To those of you being honored, take it all in tonight. I know not one of you consider yourself to be a hero, and that's okay, because we all do. Take some time tonight to visit with those who are here to support you and those that you work with. This is your night. On behalf of Chief Williams, myself, the entire command and executive staff, we appreciate all that you do. And to the family members of those being honored here tonight, you are just as much a part of their success as they are. Thank you, and enjoy the evening.
My Lord, 32 years. He was saying this morning something about having revolvers when he came on. I don't even know if they make those anymore. So let's get started. So to introduce our first award category of the evening is Assistant Director Jesse Cooper.
Good evening. A critical part of our team are the volunteers who donate their time and talents to all aspects of the department. COPS stands for Citizens Offering Police Support. So much of what we do as a police department is carried out by volunteers. These outstanding citizens give of themselves and their time to ensure that we continue to serve and protect while giving back to our community. They serve on advisory boards, in neighborhood patrols, in precincts and bureaus, and assist with special events and programs. They are leaders and mentors and are deserving of our appreciation. Thank you.
Tonight, we recognize three very special volunteers who donated so much of their time over the course of 2021. Marvin Castellon. You got some fans. Tom Humphrey and his wife, Joanne Humphrey. Marvin Castellon is a student at ASU. Anybody? Nobody? One? And has been volunteering with the police department as part of his, an internship. He brought with him a great attitude and professionalism throughout his internship. And lucky for us, he will be starting the academy in June to become a police officer. Thank you, Marvin. Tom and Joanne Humphrey became volunteers in July of 2021 and have been instrumental in growing our Motorist Assist program, almost doubling the number of volunteers. They have spent countless hours reaching out to various vendors for donations to supply our Motorist Assist vehicles with much needed equipment. In addition, they created a schedule so our communications personnel would know which volunteer would be available to serve and in what capacity. This couple's attitude, motivation, and dependability is why they are such great volunteers. Thank you to each of you for your time you have donated to the department. Individuals like you are an important and critical part of what we do. Thank you so much.
I love that we get to come here together tonight to really give these great men and women the honor they're due on stage. So here to introduce our next award category, the Medal of Life Saving, please welcome to the stage Assistant Chief Sean Connolly.
Good evening and thank you. This is awesome. And now please welcome this year's honorees receiving the Medal of Life Saving.
Officer Nick Barker, Officer Anna Barron Mosqueda, Officer Laura Blackwell, Lieutenant Vern Brink, Officer Lauren Burke, Officer Antonio Caraveo, Officer Rudy Castillo, Officer Eric Coda, Detective Sean Conry, Officer Shelby Cyrus, Officer Brian Dennis, Officer Logan Egnor, Officer Jody Fenn, Detective Justin Ferrari, Officer Mauricio Figueroa Salazar, Officer Devin Fisher, Officer Seth Fratham, Officer Senna Fuller, Officer Anthony Gary, Sergeant Ray Gaudet, Officer Paul Guerrero, Officer David Hadlock, Officer Tim Henningsen, Officer Justin Hernandez, Officer Todd Hopper, Officer Joshua Irvin, Officer Josh James, Sergeant Jesse Jansma, Officer Tanner Johnson, Officer Joel Kaminsky, Officer Justin LaRose, Officer Jeremy LeBlanc, Officer Ryan Leslie, Officer Monica Lindemann, Officer Megan Long, Officer Ian Lumley, Officer Matthew McKinster, Officer Michael Maya, Officer Ryan McCannon, Officer Patrick McDowell, Officer Dan Miller, Officer Rozelle Mosley, Officer Holden Muir, Officer Troy Nance, Detective Eric Nash, Officer Brandon Nickel, Officer Thomas Overzet, Officer Jorge Perez, Officer Suzanne Riley, Officer Ryan Roberts, Officer Blake Robinson, Officer Eric Rodriguez, Officer Rebecca Rodriguez, Officer Kevin Romero, Officer Jordan Russell, Officer Chad Saltzman, Officer Jamie Scherer, Officer Daryl Schmidt, Officer Tyken Soli, Officer Jacob Tinto, Officer Robert Wallace, Officer Zachary Wheeler, Officer Andrew Waranga, Sergeant Stephen Wong.
Wow, what an impressive group. The greatest gift we all have is life. One of the second greatest gifts is the honor and privilege of saving another's life. The Medal of Life Saving is awarded to an employee or citizen for an act that results in saving or preserving a human life or lives that otherwise would have expired immediately. Daily in our amazing city, incredible dedicated Phoenix police officers impact our communities and citizens in positive and meaningful ways. Every recipient on stage tonight was involved in saving a community member's life, and in many ways, their actions involved endangering their own life in that noble process. It would take all evening, and maybe into tomorrow, to share each of these stories, but each one is incredible in its own right. In each case, these actions by these officers saved or significantly prolonged the life of a citizen who otherwise would have perished. Please join me in recognizing all the recipients of the Medal of Life Saving.
want to say hello to everybody out there in the Phoenix Police Department. April and I are a part of the public safety family. My husband, a retired police officer. You are a big part of the fire family. And we just want you to know that we are so grateful for what you do day in, day out. It does not go unnoticed. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, exactly what she said. We appreciate every single day what you do to protect and to serve our community and put your lives on the line. And just know that we're so grateful for what you do.
Hello, friends. Phoenix PD, tonight is your night. I've got a special guest here. Hold on. Here she is, Jamie Serrata.
Hi, everybody. Hello. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you. You know, when I was a street reporter at 4:30 in the morning, knocking on the window of your police car, asking what's happening here. You're always kind and patient with me and kept us safe, and we appreciate that so much.
And you need a lot of patience hanging out with Jamie. Just kidding.
It's true.
Just kidding. Great to see everybody. Tonight's your night. Have a wonderful evening.
Hi everyone, Steve McLaughlin with 3 TV and CBS 5. No, this is not my house. This is my brother Sean's house out here for a graduation in DC. But I wanted to take a moment to congratulate all the men and women from the Phoenix Police Department. Congratulations to all the award winners. As a veteran of the night shift, I see you out there night after night, putting it all on the line for all of us and our families. We appreciate you so much.
Yes, it's true. His name is Seen, and he has a twin brother named Sean. I know. Presenting our next award category, the Medal of Merit. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Assistant Chief Brian Chapman.
Good evening. Merit, courage, and dedication make up the DNA of every one of our Phoenix Police employees. These values are tested every week, every day, and every shift. And as you know, police work can be a dangerous job. The Medal of Merit is presented to an employee for an act of courage and dedication to duty during the performance of a police service that involves significant risk or danger to one's personal safety. As these awards are presented, you will hear stories of heroes who took quick action to protect life and property. Our community is blessed that these honorees were in the right place at the right time and took decisive action in a chaotic situation. We are truly grateful and proud to honor each of them tonight with the Medal of Merit. At this time, please welcome our first honoree to the stage.
Our first awardee is Detective David Thwing. I don't know where he got that beard. Before I say anything, that beard. Do they offer that in Queen Creek? Yeah, I didn't think so. I digress. Detective Thwing is being recognized for his actions in multiple tactical apprehensions of armed violent offenders over the course of several months in 2020, while part of the fugitive apprehension and investigative detail, including one who pointed a weapon at an officer. David, you're like the analogous to the modern day David and Goliath. Detective Thwing demonstrated an ability to remain cool, calm, and collected, and he displayed an uncanny ability to react with extraordinary discipline. Detective Thwing is being recognized for his exemplary display of courage and dedication to duty involving significant risk to his own personal safety. Dave, you are awarded now the Medal of Merit. Congratulations.
Please welcome our next honoree, Officer Noah Briggs. On September 21st, 2020, Officer Briggs was in the area of 17,200 North 7th Street on an unrelated call when he saw a 5-year-old boy walking towards 7th Street where there was heavy rush hour traffic. Well, that young child was looking down at the cell phone, not paying attention, and Officer Briggs got out of his patrol car and rushed over to get to that boy, get his attention, yelling, waving his arms, but it just wasn't working. That child went out into the street anyhow, and Officer Briggs ran without hesitation or concern for his own personal safety to grab that boy, hearing screeching and skidding of car tires before he was able to scoop him up. A search for the parents led officers to some nearby apartments where they found the mother frantically looking for her little boy. If it wasn't for the quick decision and selflessness of Officer Briggs, that little boy might not have made it home safely to his mom that day. Officer Briggs risked his own life to run into that busy street to save that boy. His actions are, of course, in keeping with the highest standards of tradition of the Phoenix Police Department. Officer Briggs is hereby awarded the Medal of Merit.
Hey everybody, Troy Hayden, Celeste Rodriguez, Fox 10 AZAM. What a great night.
Absolutely.
I know on any given day, all of you, the men and women of Phoenix PD, could get an award for what you do every day you come to work.
Yeah.
But I know some of you are being awarded for very special things you've done, and it's awesome.
Yeah, you are heroes on our city streets. We so appreciate you, and of course, all the sacrifice that you give each and every day, and the sacrifices of your family as well. So thank you.
Congratulations, all the award recipients tonight. And this is the biggest boom microphone I've ever seen in my... Congratulations to everybody.
Thank you.
Hey to all you officers out there, this is Scott Passmore with Good Morning Arizona. I am a big fan of what you men and women do on the streets daily. We appreciate you keeping us safe and keeping the streets safe out there with all those crazy people. So thank you again. Congratulations on all your achievements. And hopefully this is kind of like one of those get out of free video cards. Next time I get pulled over, Scott, this is what my face looks like. So that'd be really nice. Congratulations.
District 1 Councilwoman Ann O'Brien, who is also the chair of the Public Safety and Justice Subcommittee, had every intention of being here to celebrate with all you fine folks tonight, but she had to cancel last minute, so she did ask I share these prepared words with you. I want to apologize. I was not able to be present with you all here. Unfortunately, I'm at home battling a serious cold, and no, it's not COVID, she says. A year in, and still every day, I learn something new about our city. I was thrilled to learn the Phoenix Police Department recognize our city's heroes at the Pride in Our Heroes Award ceremony. When I'm getting ready for a speech, sometimes I look up definitions. In today's world, the true meaning of words is often lost or misconstrued. For this one, I looked up both hero and pride. The definition of hero is a mythological, legendary figure, often of divine descent, endowed with great strength or ability, an illustrious warrior, a person admired for achievements and noble qualities, one who shows great courage. Seriously, every day, the men and women of the Phoenix Police Department put on their uniforms, kiss their families goodbye, and head to work, where they strive to keep each family and all our visitors safe. They run to danger when most others are running away. You are heroes because you all have great ability, noble qualities, and show great courage. I'm thankful for each and every one of you and pray for your safety. One of the definitions of pride is a feeling of deep pleasure or satisfaction derived from the achievements of those with whom one is closely associated, or from qualities or possessions that are widely admired. While I do not know each and every one of our officers or all those winning awards tonight, I'm deeply proud of the Phoenix PD and their volunteers. Please, another round of applause for the 69 recipients of the Medal of Life-Saving, the 10 recipients of the Medal of Merit, and 3 volunteers tonight recognized with the COPS Volunteer Excellence Award. And she says there are plenty more officers to recognize tonight, so she's not going to take up any more of the time. So thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Next is we're going to invite Assistant Chief Sean Kennedy, who will give us the category of Medal of Valor.
The Medal of Valor is awarded to an employee for a conspicuous act of valor during the performance of a service that involves risk of life and knowledge of that risk. The act clearly delineates valor from other forms of courage and is above and beyond the call of duty. Each of the honorees this evening are deserving of this award. Every officer in law enforcement will encounter an array of situations in their career, each one more unique than the last. but our next group of honorees can truly say they encountered the call of their lifetime. The stories you are about to hear will demonstrate the bravery these officers exhibited to overcome life-threatening situations. In each incident, the officers rose to the occasion, relying on training and experience to overcome challenging odds. Please welcome our next group of honorees to the stage.
On April 3, 2021, officers responded to a call of an armed suspect waving a firearm in the parking lot of a gas station in the area of 75th Avenue and Indian School. When officers arrived, the suspect was walking to a restaurant outside pointing a gun at the air unit overhead. And when Officer Donnell Lindo confronted that suspect, the suspect ran into the restaurant. Officer Ana Barron Mosqueda and Officer Lindo walked to the restaurant and could see that suspect confronting patrons with that gun. Officer Lindo went through the main doors as Officer Barron Mosqueda went to the side door to confront and contain that suspect. Once inside, Officer Lindo gave commands to the suspect to drop the gun. The suspect was behind a half wall and pointed the weapon at the officer, who fired his service weapon. The suspect hid behind the wall, and when Officer Lindo moved to the other side of the wall, the suspect was again pointing his gun at the officer. Officer Lindo fired the service weapon again, ending that threat. As a result of the officer's immediate intervention, preventing a hostage situation, avoiding risk of death or serious injury to many innocent citizens in that restaurant, their actions are, of course, in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Officer Lindo and Officer Ana Barron Mosqueda hereby awarded our Medal of Merit.
Who's ready for some top cops? Anybody? So we were just in D.C. about a week or two ago, and they were honored in D.C., but it is our pleasure to welcome our next honorees. Officer Alexander Cowan, Officer Logan Egnor, Officer Antonio Rodriguez, and Communications Operator Rachel Hayden. Please welcome. On January 9th of 2021, our Communications Bureau began receiving multiple calls for service regarding shots being fired at a hotel near 6th Avenue in Van Buren. Communications Operator Rachel Hayden immediately recognized the severity of the situation and requested additional units and resources to the area. Officer Cameron Pryor and Officer Antonio Rodriguez answered the call, and when they arrived, they saw the suspect in the middle of the roadway by a vehicle fighting with the driver of that vehicle. The suspect turned toward the patrol vehicle and officers, and they were able to clearly see that the man was armed with a gun and was holding a baby in his arms. Before they could react, the suspect fired his weapon at the officers. Officer Rodriguez cleared on his police radio and provided critical information to responding officers. Officer Alexander Cohen and Officer Logan Egnor were not far from the request for additional units, and they came. Officer Cohen sensed the severity of the situation and prepared his rifle while on the drive to the scene. When they arrived, they saw the suspect pointing a gun at the baby, pointing the gun at the driver of the vehicle, and also pointing his gun at other officers. The suspect was also holding the baby as a shield. The suspect turned his attention to Officer Egnor and lowered the baby just enough for officers to take decisive action. Officer Cohen made the split-second decision to deploy his service rifle, shot the suspect, and immediately ended the threat, saving the baby, saving the driver, and the other officers who were on scene. One shot, the suspect dropped the child, and Officer Egnor ran to extract the child. Officers Pryor and Rodriguez removed the firearm from the suspect and began rendering aid. The actions taken by these officers and our communications operator that day resulted in the officers saving a child's life and protecting citizens in the area. When asked about their actions on that January day, they will simply tell you, quote, "We are just ordinary people placed in extraordinary situations," end quote. That's the Phoenix way. Officers Cohen, Egnor, Pryor, and Rodriguez, and Communications Operator Hayden are hereby awarded the Medal of Valor. Congratulations.
I think that's what's great is so many of these humble supermen and women don't do it for the accolades. It's an honor to serve all of us, and so we're so grateful for the opportunity to recognize them. Please welcome our next award recipients, Sergeant Christopher Marrero and Detective Justin Weschler. On August 30th, 2019, the Fugitive Apprehension Investigations Detail was running surveillance on a homicide suspect. Officers attempted a high-risk vehicle stop, and the suspect failed to yield. Team set up some tactical surveillance. The suspect was driving in the area of 87th Avenue in Van Buren when officers took measures to prevent the suspect from fleeing. He intentionally rammed an undercover car and kept on running. That crash blew the tire and put it out of commission. The suspect took off with a gun in hand in the middle of very busy traffic, running from the vehicle with a gun and stopping at another vehicle, striking the passenger side window multiple times, pointing his gun at the driver and pulling on the handle with such force it broke right off. Detective Justin Weschler was giving commands to the suspect to stop. He did not comply and ran to the driver's side door. That's when Sergeant Christopher Marrero watched the suspect try to open the driver's side door and hit that window again. Sergeant Marrero hit the gas, striking the suspect with his truck, and the suspect fell to the ground. That's when the victim was able to drive away to safety. While on the ground, the suspect pointed his gun at the officers, exchanging gunfire, and officers were able to end the threat and take that man into custody. Their actions are in keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Sergeant Christopher Marrero and Detective Justin Weschler hereby awarded the Medal of Valor.
Please help me welcome our next group of honorees, Sergeant Jeffrey Toby, Sergeant Gregory Golish, Officer Christopher Jones, Officer Robert Olszewski, I hope I got that right, Officer Daniel Grant, Officer Chris Norton, and Officer Chris Grice. Go Dad! On May 5th, Cinco de Mayo of 2020, it's my heritage. Officers responded to a call of a subject threatening to shoot his girlfriend and 2 children at an apartment complex near 19th Avenue in Northern. When they arrived, they spoke to a woman who had escaped the apartment. She told the officers there was another woman and 2 children inside the apartment being held at gunpoint by a suspect. As officers were speaking with her, they heard multiple gunshots and a woman scream. The officers then began to move toward the apartment when they saw a female emerge from inside, stumble down some stairs, and collapse. Sadly, she had been severely injured. Officers immediately dove into action, forging ahead, deciding to make a crisis entry in order to save the children who were still inside the apartment. Sergeant Golish moved ahead of the entry team and picked up the female victim and ran with her out of the complex to awaiting paramedics. The other officers made entry into the apartment and safely extracted both children, taking them to safety. Later, the Special Assignments Unit responded to the scene and discovered that the suspect was deceased inside the apartment from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The rapid response and quick thinking of the officers and supervisors involved resulted in the lives of 2 children being saved. Therefore, they are hereby being awarded the Medal of Valor.
Recipients: Lieutenant Eric Miner, Sergeant Brian Bailey, Sergeant Virginia Bolenbaugh, Officer Nicholas Thimson, Officer Trevor McGuire, Officer Stephen Cullen, Officer Emily Huskisson, Officer Adam Branovitz, and Officer Taylor Drake. On June 17, 2020, officers were called to the area of 2200 West Indian School for a domestic violence fight. Someone heard a gunshot coming from inside. When officers got there, they started preparations immediately to make a crisis entry for a hostage rescue. The team went into the apartment, clearing the home. They could hear a woman screaming from a bathroom that the man had a gun to her head. Sergeant Bailey held a ballistic shield against the door as Lieutenant Minor used a battering ram to make a hole in the upper corner of the door to distract that suspect and divert his gunfire away from the hostage and that rescue team. Another gunshot was heard inside the bathroom, and officers were able to kick down the door. Without thought to their own safety, they made entry and the suspect shot at them. They returned fire, ending the threat. The victim was able to crawl to safety under that ballistic shield. Neither her or the officers were hurt in this incident. The members of this rescue team courageously ran towards gunfire to rescue that woman. Their actions, of course, keeping with the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department, they are hereby awarded the Medal of Valor.
Please help me welcome our next honoree, Sergeant Gary Bradley. On July 2nd, 2020, Sergeant Bradley was responding to a call of a shooting near 28th Avenue and El Caminito when he was flagged down by a female victim who told him a suspect had pointed a gun at her and shot multiple vehicles. Sergeant Bradley made his way to the area or the scene of the crime and saw a man matching the description walking down an alley. Sergeant Bradley followed the suspect down the alley, and when the suspect noticed he was being followed by Sergeant Bradley, the suspect jumped a fence into a residential home. Sergeant Bradley jumped that same fence and continued trying to follow that suspect. Sergeant Bradley made his way to the front of the home and to the front yard, but lost sight of that suspect just momentarily. Suddenly, he heard a woman yelling that there was an armed person in her house fighting with her son. That's what we call a clue. Sergeant Bradley, without hesitation, without regard for his own safety, went into that home and found two individuals on the floor fighting over a gun. Sergeant Bradley ran over toward the fight, and when he was a few feet away, the son was able to wrestle the gun away from the suspect, allowing Sergeant Bradley to immediately take the suspect into custody. Sometimes in this job, all you have time to do is to react. Thank you, Sergeant Bradley, for reacting that day. You're hereby awarded the Medal of Valor. Congratulations.
Our next group of honorees, Sergeant Ryan Snyder, Officer Trevin Janser, Officer Taylor Whitlock, Officer Ryan Zeller, and Officer Patrick Doyle. On October 5th, 2020, Officer Janser observed smoke in the area of 4000 East Portland and called for more units and fire. Sergeant Snyder, Officer Whitlock, Officer Zeller, and Doyle were responding to this now fully engulfed multi-family residential structure. There were huge flames. Officer Janser approached the home to find a family trapped in a bedroom, and they were stuck. They couldn't get out without help. Officer Janser went in and was able to help those three women out safely. As soon as he got out, Officer Whitlock and Doyle joined him and were able to continue evacuating the building. During those evacuations, they were directed to a physically disabled man and his dogs stuck in a smoke-filled bedroom. Officer Whitlock jumped into a window and passed the dogs and disabled man out to Officers Zeller, Doyle, and Snyder, waiting to rescue them on the other side. Once everyone was removed from that burning building, officers ensured all other units and neighboring structures were unoccupied before the fire department even arrived on scene. They didn't hesitate. Their swift and humble actions resulted in the preservation of no less than 8 persons and 6 dogs. For their selfless actions, Officer Trevor Janser, Officer Taylor Whitlock, are hereby awarded the Medal of Valor. Sergeant Ryan Snyder, Officer Ryan Zeller, and Officer Patrick Doyle hereby awarded the Medal of Merit.
Hey Phoenix Police, this is Olivia from Good Morning Arizona, and I just want to say thank you so much for your incredible service and protection of this community. We love thinking of you as partners, and even though I married a Mesa police officer, Phoenix Police has always been my favorite department. That was just about the health insurance. So big shout out to my brother-in-law, Lieutenant Chris Boyle, and thanks to the entire department.
Just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you for the work you do for the city of Phoenix. I'm from a law enforcement family, so I understand the dedication it takes to be a police officer and the commitment to your job and your community. There's no way I'm able to do the job I do without you being willing to do what you do. I will always defend you on the air, but I will never forget that it's your hard work every single day that makes it safe for me to do my job, and I will echo that all over the place whenever I can. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for the work you do, but especially for the way you do it. You are the most professional agency in the entire country. I'm proud to say that I live in Phoenix, and you're a big part of that reason, so thank you so much.
Now please help me welcome the president of the Phoenix Police Foundation, Mr. Tim Thomas. Oh, he's out front. He's got to be different. Before you run all the way over here, can you just stand right there for me, please? No, right there. Yes, sir. I'm going to take some of your time. You always have too many words anyway, TMW, so I'm going to take up some of your time. Before we let you speak, Tim, we'd like to invite you to stand there with Chief Kurtenbach at center stage. We would like to recognize Tim for his never-ending support of the Phoenix Police Department. In 2017, Tim made the selfless decision to exit his career in the private sector to address the pressing needs of the Phoenix Police Foundation. Since then, he has grown the foundation significantly. In 2021, under his leadership, the foundation raised more than $1 million. And he's never bought me lunch at all. The foundation has approved over 75 grant requests in the last 3 years. These grants include over $52,000 to youth programs. That's amazing. Over $40,000 to in-kind donations from Amazon, over $24,000 to the Communications Bureau, and over $179,000 for the family of fallen officer Gennaro New. Thank you. These are just a few examples of the extraordinary work Tim has done with the foundation to support the police department. Tim, we are truly appreciative and truly love everything that you do in your continued support of our officers and our department. Congratulations. Yeah, now you can speak, yes. Let's make it short.
I'm still not going to buy him lunch. Good evening, everyone. First, let me congratulate all of the award recipients tonight. You do an amazing job serving this community. And on behalf of the Phoenix Police Foundation, our board of directors, I want to personally thank each and every one of you. And I'd also, this has been said many times tonight, but I also want to thank all of the families that are here tonight. Without your support, our officers couldn't do what they do, so thank you to all of you as well. I'd like to give you all a big round of applause. So in short, the mission of the Phoenix Police Foundation is to fund, honor, and assist the women and men of the Phoenix Police Department. And I'd like to take just a brief moment to share a few examples of how we've supported the department in recent months. Tonight is a perfect example. This is how the foundation helps honor our officers by being able to support and fund this celebration and others like it. We also held our second annual honor run back in March to recognize our fallen. And coming up in September, we'll hold our 5th annual Women in Blue celebration. Regarding assistance, in the last 12 months, the foundation has provided more than $400,000 in financial assistance to Phoenix police officers and their families. We also recently assisted several officers to travel back to Police Week when Gino News and Matthew Heffler's names were added to the National Memorial Wall. And lastly, we've been able to fund a number of projects and programs across the spectrum, including youth programming, as Chief Martos mentioned, such as the Cadet Program and the Police Activities League. We've purchased computers for the Human Exploitation and Trafficking Unit, and we've also purchased advanced scheduling software for the Communications Bureau, just to name a few. So we're also very excited to announce our largest single effort. Once formally approved, we're going to build a new victim center and other enhancements in the Family Investigations Bureau. Thank you. So again, I'd just like to thank all of you for what you do. I do what I do because of what you do. So thank you and congratulations to everyone tonight.
Here to present our next award category, the Police Chief's Unit Award, please welcome to the stage Assistant Chief Anthony Vasquez.
Good evening. I'm glad I can't see anybody right now. So the Police Chief's Unit Award is presented for the successful completion of a predetermined police-related on-duty act or continuing effort by a group of employees working for a common objective. This year, we are recognizing 3 groups for their efforts: the Homicide Unit, the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, and the Crime Impact Unit. Please welcome to the stage this year's honorees who are receiving the Police Chief's Unit of the Year Award. The first group is our Homicide Unit.
Lieutenant David Albertson, Sergeant Marcus Allen, Detective Jonathan Anderla, Police Assistant Joy Anderson, Detective Steve Armenta, Sergeant Jason Aurelius, Sergeant Jerry Barker, Detective William Bishel, Detective Michael Cervantes, Sergeant Brian Coudray, Detective Leonard Diaz, Detective Jen DePonzio, Sergeant Robert DeVenti, Detective Sergio Dominguez, Detective Frank Duran, Detective Adam Frost, Detective Chris Gill, Detective Jeff Gooden, Detective Kevin Ham, Detective Matt Hamus, Sergeant Brian Hansen, Sergeant Troy Hillman, Detective Jeff Johnson, Detective Shelley Kistner, Detective Vanessa Kuhn, Sergeant Greg Lieberts, Detective April Lopez, Sergeant Melissa Lord, Detective Jennifer McAvey, Detective Shannon McGee, Detective Ryan Miller, Detective Adriana Miner, Detective Nicholas Mosley, Detective Toby Myers, Detective Yana Normadine, Detective Kendall Noonley, Detective Howie Pacifico, Detective Ryan Petker, Detective Christine Pickens, Police Assistant Sandra Quintana, Detective Jake Rasmussen, Detective Tim Reese, Detective Dominic Rostenberg, Detective Michael Rudd, Detective Kevin Sakalis, Detective Earl Sales, Detective Mike Smoyver, Detective Eric Staley, Detective John Tusink, Detective Wes Thompson, Detective Brandy Thwing, Sergeant Robert Vasquez, Detective Michael Walsh, Detective Brandy Willingham, Detective Anthony Winter.
Some of you were cheering a little bit louder for some than others. There'll be a fight at home later tonight. In 2020, the homicide unit saw a 45% increase in homicides compared to 2019, and it was the first year since 2007 that the city had more than 200 homicides in a single year. Despite the significant hurdle, the unit cleared 72% of all their cases, which was 9% higher than 2019, and the highest clearance rate since 2013. In addition, that clearance rate is also 10% higher than the national average. This clearance rate brings much needed closure to the victims' families and, quite frankly, our entire community. In addition to the response side of the unit, the cold case squad saw a dramatic increase in their success in 2020. The squad solidified a new mission and created efficiency processes while taking advantage of new and emerging technologies and techniques. The results of their work in 2020 were nothing short of remarkable and demonstrate the dedication, work ethic, teamwork, and collaboration possessed by each member of this unit. The long hours did not deter them from bringing closure to grieving families, and ultimately this is what it's all about, victims and victims' families. I must admit here, there's a special place in my heart for this unit. Therefore, together, they are hereby awarded the Police Chief's Unit of the Year Award. Congratulations, everybody.
Please welcome our next Police Chief's Unit Award, the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit, to the stage.
Detective Kathleen Abusafi, Detective Alex Archuleta, Sergeant Jason Aurelius, Administrative Assistant Tina Ayala, Detective Andy Barkiz, Police Assistant Damian Bautista, Forensic Scientist Michael Bedau, Detective Michelangelo Caggiano, Commander John Collins, Police Assistant Jonathan Daly, Commander Edward DeCastro, Sergeant Timothy Denny, Police Assistant Jessica Ellifritz, Detective George Fulton, Carrie Funk, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Police Assistant Elizabeth George, Lieutenant Mark Heimel, Lieutenant James Hester, Reserve Officer Brandon Huntley, Sergeant Anthony Hurtado, Detective Eric Infiesto, Charles Katz, Arizona State University professor, Assistant Chief Sean Kennedy, Detective Joel Kilby, Sergeant Richard Kohler, Commander Gabe Lopez, Secretary Stacy Owen, Addison Owen, Maricopa County Prosecutor, Police Assistant Ronald Palmer, Police Assistant Stacy Parker, Detective Theron Quas, Sergeant Angel Romo, Detective Audrey Santisi, Jason Schmidt, Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, Assistant Lab Director Ben Swanholm, Sergeant Jessica Toner, Vincent Webb, Arizona State University professor, Lieutenant Lois Weiss, Lab Director Jody Wolf.
In 2017, the Phoenix Police Department was awarded the National Crime Gun Center Initiative grant by the Bureau of Justice Assistance and the Department of Justice. Now, this grant was used to create the Crime Gun Intelligence Unit. The unit started with a gun squad and National Integrated Ballistic Information Network squad, and of course has grown, adding more sworn and professional staff, as you see here tonight. The Phoenix Police Department's Crime Gun Intelligence Unit is now the national model for excellence, with agencies traveling from all over the country right here to the Valley to learn from this amazing team. Since the creation of this unit, the department has seen great successes with more ballistic evidence collection, clearance rates on violent firearm offenses, and intelligence from National Integrated Ballistic Information Network leads. In 2020, the unit developed 809 leads, connecting 1,407 unique incidents right here in the city of Phoenix. This group of individuals and their accomplishments exemplify the highest standards and traditions of the Phoenix Police Department. Together, they are hereby awarded the Police Chief's Unit of the Year Award. Congratulations.
All right, we're now going to welcome our last group receiving the Police Chief's Unit Award. Let's welcome the Crime Impact Unit.
Officer Manny Abeda, Sergeant Chris Abusafi, Sergeant Andrew Austin, Officer Alan Bansky, Officer William Bain, Officer Phil Belsterling, Officer Brandy Carter, Officer David Dodd, Officer James Faree, Officer Mike Fortune, Officer Matthew Heaps, Sergeant Brad Huskisson, Officer Eric Infiesto, Officer Ryan Lee, Officer Hector Lugo, Officer Kristen Luther, Sergeant Christopher Marrero, Officer Austin Martin, Officer Chris Mense, Crime Analyst Christine Morris, Officer Joseph Newbern, Officer Wade Niver, Officer Nicholas Nolan, Crime Analyst Amy Olson, Sergeant Angel Romo, Officer Jennifer Smith, Brett Staven, Adult Probation, Officer Scott Thompson, Officer David Thwing, Officer Rick Timney, Officer Craig Walker, Officer Justin Weschler, Officer David Williams.
Holy beards, Batman. Some of them don't look like they even showered. I don't know what's going on over here. Also joining us tonight to accept on behalf of Officer Jennifer Smith is John Borns. Thank you for joining us tonight, John, to accept on behalf of Jennifer. This unit is comprised of the Fugitive Apprehension Investigations Detail, commonly known as FADE, and the Street Crimes Detail that identify, locate, track, and apprehend violent criminal offenders. In 2020, the unit made 754 arrests involving the most violent criminal offenders in our city. They recovered 84 firearms, fulfilled 426 service requests, and performed approximately 11,200 hours of surveillance. That's a lot of QT cups. Those of you who've ever been on a long surveillance know what that means. I'll leave it there. Additionally, Fade served 125 Level 2 warrants despite hundreds of engagements with violent offenders. The Crime Impact Unit was involved in only 6 use-of-force events, none of which rose to the level of deadly force. Despite the rise in violent crime, the Crime Impact Unit has worked in partnership with the Violent Crimes Bureau to help them achieve their 72% clearance rate on homicide cases. This group is relentless, and I'm going to repeat that. This group is relentless and persistent in their pursuit of justice. Truthfully, victims of crime and their loved ones deserve nothing less than this kind of performance from their police department. We are so lucky to have such a dedicated group of employees. Together, they are hereby awarded the Police Chief's Unit of the Year Award. Congratulations, everybody.
Hello, everyone. I'm Roy Green of the Arizona Cardinals. I just want to say this evening, thank you so much for what you do for my community. We really appreciate the effort that you give, the way you make it so that we can be safe as we go to bed at night. I know I, as well as your family, really loves and appreciates you. So all the wives and girlfriends, kids, whomever your relationship is with the officer out there, reach over right now, give them a kiss, a hug, or a handshake, and tell them how much you appreciate them, because I sure do. The Arizona Cardinals and the Phoenix Police Department, my 2 favorite teams.
Hey everybody, welcome to Today in AZ. I'm Scott McDonald.
I'm Emily Pritchard. Great to be with you. We're both somewhat new to the Valley and really appreciate you for welcoming us with open arms.
Yeah, so a big congratulations to everybody who's receiving awards today. Take a moment to enjoy this time with your friends, family, and your colleagues.
Yeah, it's time to have a little bit of fun. Your perseverance day in and day out has really led to today's accomplishment, and we can't wait to see you again, bright, maybe dark and early.
Have a great day.
We have reached our final honor of the night. Sadly, this is not one that we like to give out. This is the highest honor given to any Phoenix police officer, which is the Medal of Honor. This honor is reserved for officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty and have made the ultimate sacrifice. This medal is posthumously awarded to the employee's survivor. On May 31st of 2021, Officer Gennaro New was on patrol driving in the area of Cave Creek and Greenway Road. As he drove south on Cave Creek Road with one of his squad mates following closely behind, his vehicle was struck by an impaired driver who ran a red light traveling 91 miles per hour. Despite the valiant efforts of our brothers and sisters from the Phoenix Fire Department, including personnel at the Honor Health Deer Valley Hospital, Officer New died from his injuries. Officer New left behind a wife and family whose lives were forever changed that day. Officer Gennaro New made the ultimate sacrifice while protecting and serving our community. Let us never forget his life of service. Let us not be deterred of our mission as police officers, much like he did. And let us continue to love and embrace his wife and family as our own. Tonight, the Phoenix Police Department is proud to posthumously bestow upon Officer Gennaro New the Medal of Honor. Would you please stand with me and help me welcome to the stage Kristen New, who is here to accept the award on behalf of her husband, Gennaro.
Please be seated. Thank you. Kristen, your family, obviously all your extended brothers and sisters, and this greater community just cannot speak enough of the service and sacrifice behind the badge. And of course, with National Police Week and everything else, Memorial Day holiday coming up this weekend as well, our hearts are heavy. Our hearts are heavy. But I just want to say what a special night it was to come together here tonight. And it really is truly a special blessing. Not every department does this, you know that? It's been a while since Tempe's had one. I'm gonna make a note to our chief to push that through. But, and I know you don't do it for the award. You don't do it for the medal. That's not what this is about. We've talked before about all the humble heroes and why you choose to take that oath to protect strangers like me who you don't know. But please know it means a lot. To me personally, it means a lot to us collectively as a community. And when I saw these big units coming up here together, these special teams, it just really floors me just to see the size and scope behind the scenes. I really thought you guys were gonna run out of medals for a while there. I think somebody ran back, yeah.
We borrowed them from the first group.
That almost happened, that almost happened. It's a true thing, but I am blown away. I'm blown away by the backstories of all these heroes. And I know that there are so many more out there on a day-to-day basis. For the record, I've personally loved all the officer profiles that you guys are sharing with more frequency on social media. Who's out there with me? I mean, do you guys like seeing those stories of the positive things? Because I feel like guilty as charged. I know the scanners go off in the newsroom, and then, you know, sometimes we get to the end of our A block. That's the first, you know, before commercial break, and we're like, it's so heavy. But it has been really a blessing, and I want to thank your department for, you know, kind of balancing out the narrative a little bit and sharing some of those really cool profiles behind the scenes of officers doing things not because someone's got a cell phone rolling or the body cam's on, but just because it's in their heart for giving to this community. It can be a lot. It can be a lot to rise above the negative, and there's a lot of noise out there. I also really personally appreciate your department, if you're not familiar, leading the way here locally with the expeditious release of critical incident, those video clips that come out and those on-camera reports. I can't tell you what a difference it makes. It's our job in the news to ask those questions, right? And I know it's not fun to be a part of that because then it feels like everything you do is being Monday morning quarterbacked, but it's part of the job. But your department has really led the way here in the Valley, and now more departments are starting to do that, release these critical incident clips, because when those video clips are released, and bless your hearts, because you say, you admit right out the gate, you know, there's a lot we're still uncovering as this is unfolding, but to just put it out there, it really is super helpful, because seeing that body cam footage so many times gives you that angle that you're not seeing, because let's face it, everybody does have a cell phone, and it's really aggressive, and there's certainly a narrative that is people attempt to push. So it's really helpful that your department is leading the way with that, giving far more context to quiet all the speculations. But I just want to say it's been a pleasure here to hear these stories behind the scenes, to see and recognize and honor all these men and women. So just one more round of applause for everybody and the families for you guys tonight to be here. Truly, I mean, super thankful for you guys loaning us your loved ones, because we appreciate it, and your families to us.
So I just want to add real quick that there's just we recognize a few people tonight, but every day there's wonderful work being done by our men and women in uniform. I'm still incredibly humbled by what they do every single day. So with that, I will also say, while I'm speaking to you, is you mentioned families. That's critically important for us. We miss birthdays, we miss holidays, we miss all kinds of events, and yet it's family that sticks by us, and that's incredibly important for us to know, for our men and women in uniform to know as they go out every night. So thank you for being part of that family as well. So, All right, everybody, that has ended. This concludes tonight's ceremony. We'd also just want to thank once again the Police Foundation for helping us make this night possible. I also want to personally thank the Public Affairs Bureau for putting this event together. I want to thank our city leaders and elected officials who were here at this event tonight. So one last applause for everyone. And again, thank you, Nicole, for helping us tonight. Congratulations, everybody.